So, hello everyone. Today is, September 3rd for me at least. And I can't tell you, I don't feel great, but I managed to tamp down the nausea, and I can't tell you how happy I am that I am at, granted it's in the sick room, but I am at the desk here and I'm able to stand here at the moment and talking to the camera, and I think I'll actually sit down. But yeah, I'm going to be painting here, and I'm going to be setting up to paint and everything. And I just wanted to, uh, so I, and I'm going to give another update. So I decided I'm going to try out a couple of things. I know that YouTube takes videos down for copyright infringement, for having background television shows on, for having background advertisements on, for having background music is the main thing. Like if you even play a snippet of like some video game music in the background and you weren't playing the game, oh my, sorry, you had nothing to do with it. Someone was just playing a video game in the background and it got picked up on the microphone. Your video can be taken down and you can be penalized for that, which is absolutely ridiculous, and very unfair. Now, I don't know if YouTube was like purposely picking on people, or people were like reporting others for no reason at all, and more often than not probably because they just didn't like the person, or what was actually going on there. So I don't know if it was individuals actually like outing each other or something or what, but I don't know, just being vindictive, what have you, jealous. But because of that, I have had a curiosity, and I have wondered if, oh, and by the way, I'm getting my paints ready. This is the Koi watercolor set, and I'm going to be painting the painting underneath this. But anyway, I've been wondering, would YouTube flag a video that has another YouTube channel playing in the background? And I will purposely skip the ads to try to keep it from getting flagged. But I'm going to try doing that. I'm going to, because, I like listening to stuff while I paint. And so I am going to try playing a YouTube video in the background with at least one of these, videos that I have here, and just see, just hopefully it won't get flagged. Hopefully it won't get taken down. And I'll be able to, at the very least, I think it would be interesting to have, I don't know how to put it, have a record of videos on YouTube that might get taken down in the future because of political things. And even though it might be even though it might be a bad record, a crappy record, there we go, sorry. Even though it might be a crappy record, and poor quality audio, at least there will be a record of at least what was said on that video in the background of these art videos. So you can watch a beautiful painting be done and listen to, maybe some ghost tales, which is what I like to talk, what I like to listen to. That is escapism for me. I love that kind of stuff. So there we go. I don't know how else to put it. So, but I will say for this video, and I gotta hurry up with this because my throat is going dry. Actually, I'm gonna pause this for a second. One of the problems with this setup is that I actually have to stand up in order to pause the video. It's not like it is, from bed. Oh, and that was the other thing I wanted to say. Really important. I'm finding out that I can do a lot of really wonderful, I don't know how it happened, but I was able to do some really wonderful video editing from bed. And I can't tell you how good that has made my soul feel. I am so proud of these videos that are going up because I was able to actually edit them. And I feel so good about it. I have hated editing my whole life, and this is like probably, I don't know how it happened, but I'm suddenly enjoying video editing. And maybe it's because it is the only thing that's making me feel competent and accomplished, despite the fact that I am trapped in bed the days that I'm trapped in bed. I'm not able to do anything. Just sitting up is the hardest thing in the world. And being able to sit up and edit, I don't know why, but it makes me feel so good. And the other day, I was so horribly sick and I was not able to even move. And it was Labor Day. I ended up spending all day painting from bed. And it was just, by the end of it, I felt relaxed and happy. And all I did was paint from bed and listen to, what is it, Two Girls, One Ghost podcast. And I just had the best day ever. So I'm going to try to continue on that, happiness vibe that I got all through Labor Day while making these videos, instead of tensing myself up and making myself sicker through stress and tense. And I've promised myself that, and I need to move this stuff aside anyway. I promised myself that, I haven't been wanting to do these paintings because they are so complicated and they're so difficult and they're so detailed. And I can't get the right visuals anyway. Give me a second here. Because see, look at, this is blurry. It's a mess. I can't hardly make out any of his features. I don't know. Let me see what's being shown on camera. Yeah, you can even see less on camera. My God. It's just blurry white, and you can't hardly, I can see it better in real life, obviously, but that's just bad, but it was what I had. It was the projector that I had. I don't have one of these high-end projectors, but see, even these pictures, I printed them out and they're so blurry, and so there's no detail, there's pixelation, there's what do they call it? I forget what they call it. But it's bad. And so I need to just calm down. And I had to stop myself and say, listen, you're not, even if you did have the knowledge and the talent, you're not healthy enough at the moment to turn a blurry picture, because I was figuring out how to do that. I was figuring out how to take a bad picture like this, and through my artistic skill, turn it good. Turn it into a crystal clear, beautiful photograph that isn't a blurry mess like this, at whatever scale you need. And I was starting to be proud of myself. This was in my 20s, so not really, but I was starting to be proud of myself, and, illness and whatnot, poverty hit. So I had to stop myself this time and say, listen, you're not going to get anything better than the photograph. It's okay. It's okay. And so now I'm trying to, and I've gotten myself, and sadly it's only for the moment, to accept the fact that this is not going to be good. And I'm going to accept that. And I'm going to accept whatever piece of art comes out of this. So, and then the only other thing I have is that this video, and this is my response to it. She wanted a response. So this is, I got slammed for selling a watercolor on Canson extra large paper. Please issue your summary judgment accordingly. And this is by Helen Avery Media. So YouTube just fed me this. This is a totally different, I don't know, account that I have, and yet YouTube fed me this. So I don't know. Maybe they know I'm an artist. Who knows? But I thought that I would go ahead and answer that real fast as I set up here to to do some artwork. So let me see. Oop. So for me, it's hard to talk and do like the visual things, especially as I, you know, at some point I got too sick to be able to talk and do anything else. So I don't know why. I don't know how it works like that. I don't even know what paintbrush to use. But I will just say really, really quick here. And I'm just going to pause again for a minute. So I just want to say really, really quick here. I found out personally that when it comes to selling your paintings, one, and I tested this, Caran d'Ache. This is one of the worst, this is so expensive, and this is one of the worst ones when it comes to fading. Another very expensive one is this Mission Magellan Gold. Now, these products are extremely expensive. They were expensive back in the day. They weren't the most expensive, but they are expensive. This one, it morphs and it goes black and dark in the sun. So when it comes to archival paper and archival paint, there is no such thing. The most archival paint that I found in the line of watercolors was, and you won't believe it, it was children's PRANG watercolor pencils, non-washable. All right? Children's PRANG, blew them all out of the water. The only other one that was archival was Koi watercolors. These are archival, Koi watercolors. Now, this is a very recent set. I don't know. My sets were bought in the year 2005 and on. This is 2025 now. I don't know what they're being made out of. That's the unfortunate thing. The second there is change in managerialship in a business, their products usually go to crap. They do. So when it comes to, and I also found out that spraying stuff doesn't stop the paper from yellowing. You can cover it in shellac and it doesn't stop it from yellowing. I have, you know, all kinds of papers that I did artworks on when I was young, and I purposely shellacked it, you know, with spray paint shellac, all kinds of stuff, you know, even working fixative, didn't stop it. Didn't stop it from turning very, very yellow anyway. And it actually, the shellac itself seemed to turn yellow because the other pages in that book were not yellowed out like the one that I had shellacked. So that's a second archival problem. Another archival problem I found out is that virtually all of colored pencils and watercolor pencils are non-archival, especially the magentas and the pinks. No matter how, Prismacolor, PRANG, children, just all, Crayola, you know. Prismacolor was the best one other than this one old oil-based pencil that doesn't exist anymore and was very expensive. I tested it all for at least, I want to say 3 months in the summer sun. Literally, down south and baking hot. At the time, it was Oklahoma. You know what? I'm going to make it fast and easy. I forget where the heck it was in Oklahoma, but it was burning hot, burning hot. And I'm just going to say Oklahoma City just to put in the center. I think I was out in the Panhandle at the time. And for 3 months, anyway, doesn't matter. 3 months straight, I burned this stuff in the sun. I glued it onto a board. You know, I put tape on the back of it. I tapped it down good. And I put it out and I let it bake. And everything was washed out. Everything was gone. What wasn't washed out was this thing, which had gone completely, all the colors had gone black. Most of them had morphed into some weird brownish black. This one was completely gone. The magenta went first. They were all gone. The only ones that held up was PRANG children's watercolors and these kois, and then acrylics. And the acrylics morphed a bit, and wavered a bit and faded, kind of like how Crayola paints do. Crayola children's watercolors do. Anyone can do a Crayola children's watercolor test. You just put it in the window for a week, and it'll mess up, and you'll get the idea of what I'm talking about. So literally, when it comes to archival, don't worry about it. The other thing that I ended up finding out is that you can work your life away on a painting. And guess what will happen? Most paintings, whether they're bought from a store or whether they're bought from an artist like you, unless they are of a loved person, a loved one who was part of the family, even if it's a dog, even if it's a cat, even if it's like a lizard, this was my pet frog, this was my pet snake, this was my pet tarantula, who knows, this was my pet fish, unless it's something like that, more often than not, in a 30-year time period, whether it was bought from a store or bought from a professional artist, that painting will no longer be hanging up. And 60% of the time, and I'm sorry to say this, those paintings will either be thrown out or at the very least given away or sold in garage sales or garage sale type, exchanges. And I'm not exaggerating, literally, unless it is of a family member. And unless the family members still value that person or even know who that person is. I mean, I have family who I don't even know. I haven't seen them and I don't know, So there you go. I thought I would just go ahead and let you all know that I had to find out from real life experience that more often than not, no matter how well done that painting is, and I found out even if it's of a family member or celebrity, in about 15 to 20 years time, more often than not, that painting will be filed away somewhere in some attic, in some basement, in some, garage is what I have experienced. It'll be lovingly filed away, but it will no longer be hanging up on a wall for whatever reason. It didn't match the decor. It was depressing them. They decided to move on, whatever. They don't. And even if it's like, I will never, well, okay, that's a family member or a passed away pet, and they decided to move on, that makes sense. But then there's the thing of, well, I will never not be a fan of, just pick the character, Spider-Man, Batman, whatever. Well, yeah, but believe it or not, you will move on from that too, which I know is blasphemy. I shouldn't be saying that, but there you go. So when it comes to archival, and this is going to be kind of a blow up video in the art world, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You have nothing to worry about. What is the most important thing I have learned, and this is just a life hack, a life truth. What matters the most is, did you enjoy, as the artist, did you enjoy creating it? And then does the person who's hanging it up, do they enjoy it? Whatever enjoyment can be gotten out of it. Are you enjoying creating it? Or are you at least pleased with the end results? And is the customer enjoying looking at it, or at least pleased with the end results? They think it looks good enough to hang on their wall, or they're happy with it, or they think it's good enough to stick in the front of their, 3-ring binder at school, or put on their notebook. That's the only thing that matters. And this is my life experience. So I was told you need to get archival this and archival that. I don't know how else to put it. I'm sorry. This is the way art is. You don't. You just don't. And I don't mean to destroy anyone or ruin anyone or disappoint anyone, but that's just the fact of life. That is just the truth, and that is the fact of art. As long as it can last 30 years, you don't have to worry about it. And more often than not, even something that shades that fades like crap like this, and that yellows out like Canson paper, or even printer paper, or even cardstock paper, you know, you don't have to worry about it. You can literally create it with Crayola watercolors. And as long as it lasts even 15 years, you don't have to worry about it. Literally, even if money is being exchanged for this item. And I'm literally talking about money being exchanged for the item. So there you go. Unless the customer specifically asks for it to be archival, or you feel obligated to ask the customer about archival quality, you don't have to worry about it. Literally. So sorry about the deafening silence in the wake of that answer, but there you go. So it's just the truth of the life of art. It just is. Even in these restorations in, like, you know, I don't know, Vatican, Sistine Chapel and crap like that, they actually take paint and they paint over the original artist's work. You know, in like the Last Supper, the original art had lemons on the table instead of loaves of bread, you know, at, you know, the Last Supper table with the 12 disciples and all that. So, which is pretty interesting in and of itself. Some restoration artists just came along and decided, well, I'm going to put, you know, loaves of bread here because it fits the narrative better, rather than, you know, having the original work of lemons on the table. So there you go. So even original paintings have to be painted over, you know, in order to restore them. So nothing lasts forever. Nothing does. So just remember that. And remember that if you are someone who has a painting of a loved one, or of, you know, some character, just know the original colors are not going to be original. They're all going to twist. They're all going to distort. They're all going to fade. So I hate to be death itself, but hello, there you go. So moving on to the next video. My God, this is 22 minutes. I did not mean that. I'm so sorry. Bye. Sorry about the revelations too, but there you go. And if you want to fight with me in the comments, leave a comment, make your own video. But you're wrong. I'm just going to tell you, you're wrong already. You're wrong. My life has proven exactly what I said here. Anyway, bye.